Hey, what's up guys, and welcome in the third part of our Tech House Start Finish series. In today's video we are gonna cover the effects and vocals. So what we already did in the previous episode were the bassline, the drums and the synths together with the arrangement, as you can see. And in today's video we're gonna add the final element to make it sound like a real full track. So let's start with some vocals. We're gonna use our Mirage Tech House pack, which you can find in the link in the description. So I think that we can use this one, chop it up and put it in the drop. Now let's duplicate it throughout the whole drop. So now I think that we can find some loop to add in the break section. What I want to do here, since there is already a really strong synth, is kind of looping the first part of the vocal, so it will sound like a background vocal loop. So let's see how this sounds. So what we're gonna do here is trying to find like a single vocal shot, which is completely different from the breakdown and from the drop section. So it will create a nice stop in the build up and a good introduction to the drop part. So maybe like this. So I think that we can come back and work a little bit on this one, so maybe adding another part to make it a bit more interesting. So it sounds good like this. Now we can try and add some effects. So obviously we are gonna need a lot of effects here in the break section and in the drop section to make it a bit more interesting. So let's see what we got. Let's start with some downlifter here for the drop. Okay, this one for example. So we can add these effects every 30 seconds, and we can also have some crashes here after 15 seconds. Now moving on into the break section, you can look for some uplifter. So let's try this one. So another thing that it's really important are the snare fields. So we're gonna add the two main snare fields, one for the break and one after the vocal and before the drop. So now let's see for the shorter fill. And we will use this fill also in the drop section. Let's see if we can work right here after 30 seconds. What we're gonna do now is gonna be working with some effects like reverb and delay to create more ambience, and to do that we are gonna load the Ableton effect track, which is called Endless Smile, and it's basically a reproduction of the famous plugin made by Dadalife, but it's entirely made in Ableton. As you can see, we have an overdrive filter, some reverb, delay, and utility, and we only have this one macro which is controlling everything. What we're gonna do is basically creating an automation of this macro. So another thing that we can do here is also playing with the cutoff of the serum. So we will just touch here, and even though it's already open, we can make it like a tiny bit more. And we can also see if we can create a release automation. So as you can see, we have this problem here that goes a little bit after the build-up ends, so we're gonna just add an auto filter, and we're gonna close the scene right when it stops playing. So maybe one more thing that we can do to make the build-up a bit better is adding some crashes. Maybe like this. Let's also add an equalizer here. So now that we've done this with the main break and the main drop, it's gonna be really easy to reproduce these effects and these vocals on the rest of the track. So what we're gonna do, starting from the first breakdown, we're gonna copy the background vocal that we have here. We are gonna copy the uplifter, the fill, and the vocal which is right before the drop, like this. And we're gonna remove everything else. And we can also add the main snare fill, like this. I don't want to add the crash build-up because this really builds a lot of tension and I want to use it in the main breakdown. Also for the drop, I'm gonna copy the downlifter and the crash, and we are gonna add the vocals only 50 seconds after the beginning of the drop, like this. So then it goes into the main breakdown, and then we have this other small breakdown here, and we are gonna just copy the background vocal in the drop, removing all of this, and yeah, the vocal just before the drop. We're gonna also add the uplifter, and that's basically it. I don't want to add anything else because this is like at the end of the song, so we don't want to build that much tension. And yeah, like only the downlifter and the crash effects. So with this small snare fill as well, of course. So one last thing before ending this video is gonna be the transitional effects from the drop into the breakdown. So here just a simple downlifter and an uplifter will do the job. And let's see for the uplifter. Okay, like this is gonna be good, and we are gonna copy it and paste it at the other breakdowns. Okay, cool. And yeah, that's basically it for today's video. In the next episode we will finish this track, so we will fix the final details, we will do the mixing and the mastering, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification so you will know when the video will come out. Also, let us know in the comments if you have any suggestion on how to continue this track or what tutorial would you like to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.